Now we have Wing Commander MUSA SALMANU, retired, who is a former UN expert on mission, joining us via Zoom for some more perspective on the situation in Nigeria. Thank you so much for joining us, MUSA, on the News Hour tonight.
Thank you, Igo. Thank you for having me.
All right. Well, MUSA, despite the initial resistance of President Mahmoud Bazoum in Niger, we've seen now that the army in the country have pledged their allegiance to the military coup. It seems like the doubt about who is in control in Niger has been cleared, isn't it?
Yes, and so unfortunately so. It's clear that the mutineers, if I call them that, or those who wanted to usurp power by force, have eventually succeeded. As it is now, they are in charge of the instruments of power, and they have started exercising it as they have suspended the constitution, suspended all institutions of government, and closed the borders, both air and land, into the and outside of the country, and imposing also a curfew in the city, in the capital. So effectively, they are in control, and there's no doubt about, for now, that the coup will be said to have succeeded.
Yesterday, after the announcement, we saw some pockets of protests in Niger, some people who are standing by the president, but it appears that that can no longer be sustained, can it?
I think people are kind of in touch with the reality, kind of. As of yesterday, there was a mix-up. There was no clarity as to who was in charge, and there were double or multiple voices. That's the side of the government saying that this is a dangerous attempt by some elements of the armed forces, while the that's the presidential guard saying they were in control. But as time went by, and before late in the night, it was clear, or by the morning, early hours of the morning, it was clear that they have taken control. And the only hope at that time was the regular military, that it was being hoped that they will kind of be patriotic or will be loyal to the constitution. But they have also indicated that they are backing the coup plotters. So at that time, the situation on ground dictates what the protesters will do. Perhaps we have not seen the end of the protest. People are going to regroup. People are still trying to come to terms with what is reality on the ground. I'm sure they're going to reorganize, regroup, and relaunch their their protest against the coup plotters. So in the coming days, we're going to see series of these protests, both for and against the coup plotters.
Are you confident, with the ECOWAS role in bringing back stability to that country? The President Bola Tinubu, who is the chair of ECOWAS, have said no to coups on the continent. But it remains to be seen whether ECOWAS will be able to bring back civilian government in Niger, like we've seen, in Burkina Faso, in Mali, in Guinea. After the coups, there will be visits, there will be delegations, but then nothing else changes until, the military coup will just go on and on.
I think with the issue of ECOWAS, we are being optimistic that ECOWAS will be able to turn the tables, but we are also we're realists. I mean, the situation on the ground says otherwise, because if you could remember, just in the hours between the alleged coup and when it was eventually announced, the ECOWAS chair, and that's President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, made it clear, categorically clear, that ECOWAS will not accept that. He sent a very strong delegation. He, in fact, indeed sent the president of Benin, like you just said, just to emphasize that ECOWAS would not accept it. But nevertheless, the coup plotters went ahead. and they have taken over, and they are categorically clear that they call them external forces or external influences should stay clear of what they term as their own internal affairs. So ECOWAS has made so many resolutions. ECOWAS have made so many efforts at ensuring that such takeovers do not happen, and that when they happen, they do not succeed. But the reality on the ground, just like you have highlighted, is different. ECOWAS is not able to enforce its own agreements in terms of not backing coup plots or coup makers in the region. We have seen, like you highlighted, we've seen in recent past, Mali, Burkina Faso, and the rest, and it keeps going. The list is just there. We didn't know if Niger was going to happen. We thought it has stopped, but then Niger is also happening, and despite the threats by ECOWAS, the coup plotters are still anyway decided to take over.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Wing Commander MUSA SALMANU, retired former UN expert on mission, for joining us on the News Hour and sharing these perspectives. Thank you. We appreciate that.